growing up in Buddhism and Shinto tradition in a traditional household, that was a special. As a child, as a little girl, I had to follow all the routines and that my grandparents taught me. And it was not easy because I wanted to run around and I wanted to do what I wanted to do, but I had to follow. And that was, I had to follow these disciplines. And it was not easy. To be honest, there are certain aspects I suffered as well, like to sit for 1 hour, kneeling down, to listen to the chanting of the priest, for example, or chanting of the Buddhist monk. It's painful and I had to behave and it was certain difficulties. But when I look back, not only just sitting, but daily routines, and there are so much that built foundation in my life and which I didn't notice when I was very small. So I can really appreciate my parents, my grandparents, and everybody around my life that time. So what did I learn as a child? So Buddhism, Shinto, they are really a part of our lifestyle. There is no Bible to follow. There are, of course, certain concepts that here I also talk about it, but it's about learning. It's from doing. We learn from doing, and sometimes without any words. The first things I can remember is maybe when I was able to walk, my daily task was to bring the offering to our Buddhism altars. So we had 2 actually. One is for ancestors, one is for Shingon Buddhism. We had a very special, and we still do, we have a very special statue to honor the founder of Shingon Buddhism. So my task was to bring Japanese tea and rice in a very special, very small special dish on a tray. So you can just imagine how to walk, not to fall, and from the kitchen to the altar, to the Japanese room. So this walking, for example, if I miss, then everything will be on the floor. So I had to be careful I had to find a way to walk to the altar, and I give this offering. And I pray, make a prayer to thank you, and also to thank you for the protection for the day. And then my grandmother will be there as well, and she starts doing some chanting, and I sit together. So that was my morning routine. And I did for many, many, many years. And even when I go back to Japan, I still do the same thing. So the first thing, doing the same thing, the routine, it also brought me some kind of achievement. And well, maybe achievement is not a great word, but I felt like, oh, I was able to do something, and this was my task, and I had the responsibility in that house. And that gave me, in a way, the confidence and also not the independence, but I felt that I was valued at home. And also, I had to give in certain way and not to mess things around. So I learned how to respect things, and especially for this grand altar. And I was able to also feel this beautiful divine energy when I'm sitting there with my grandmother and my grandfather, and sometimes my mother, my parents, everybody. So then I was able to feel this serene energy, and that's I experienced as a little child, and also how to deal and how to care certain object with respect. And that was really embedded since I was a child. So in a way, I also, well, I think many of you, maybe especially for girls, we play with really like little dolls. And I was communicating with all the objects in my house because I felt they also have a spirit. And that's how I learned from, for example, that was from the Shinto aspect. So kind of mixed in a way, in our house, there is a space for Buddhism, a space for Shinto, and I lived with both. So it was not being Buddhist or being in Shinto practitioner or something like that. But it was just a lifestyle. Then also I learned to honor ancestors, and that's also learned how to learn that our life, we exist because thanks to these ancestors. If they are not here, previously my life was not also existing. So I learned how to kind of not just to see myself here right now, but also much more in a connected way. Also during the seasonal festivals, our relatives also came to our house, and it was more like my life was also very much connected with outside of the house, like with the community, with the relatives. So I was probably maybe now the society is different, but I felt that this sense of bonding was very important, and also I sensed that as a child. On the other hand, I always had to be good. So that's also I kind of missed being a kind of normal, misbehaved child. And in a way, there was a time that I suffered later in my life, but something that I missed as a child. But in general, this foundation I learned and how I brought up, I really appreciate. And I also try to share this essence while I was bringing up my son, and still this essence I share with him and also with you all. And there are certain essence which is timeless, and also regardless of places where we are, we can really appreciate and incorporate it into life. So it's very, very simple, very simple. And it's not about something complicated about Buddhism and the philosophy of Buddhism or philosophy from Shinto, but basically creating this small routine every day. So this small little routine that I did when I was a child also helped me to be able to practice something every day, to make it as a routine. And this still continues now. So when I want to acquire some certain skills or techniques, I'm able to do every single day. And so that was a kind of something, not from the directly what the Buddhism or Shinto teaches, but these actions also helped me to build a great foundation in my life. So the first thing was about routine, and the second thing is to respect ourselves, our inner world, outer world, and also respect the things around us and treat them with care, real care. And the third thing is really respect and cherish the bonding with other people. So for example, some of the, like self-development work, and I can be solitude to practice some creativities. When I'm writing, I'm alone. And when I'm making paintings, I'm alone. But even in the solitude, when we know that we are part of the universe, we are part of nature, when we are part with community, family, and when we know that we can be okay in solitude. So if we cannot actually cut, and we cannot be if we are totally alone, many fears pop up. But this bonding with universe, with people in divine energy, that really brings security in our life and safety. That I also still experience that as well. So that's why I can be apart from my family, but still have this strong bonding as well. And also my grandparents are already deceased, but I still feel this great connection and bonding. And then I'm able to feel this unconditional love. And that's really brings beautiful feeling every day. You may be wondering how I practice Buddhism and Shinto every day right now. So I start from my morning routines, and then I have little altar. So I put candles and some offering of water and some fruits. I open the window to let the air in and clean. So cleaning, the part of purification. So I start my day with purification and then offering. And that's both. And I connect to my ancestors and even to my dog. So the people who had actually departed from this earth, but then I still connect with them. So after the purification, I do meditation. If I were in Japan, I'll be doing the chanting with my parents. So I do Heart Sutra. I meditate. Sometimes I chant Heart Sutra. So that's part of my morning routine. And for me, it's important to move my body. So I have certain exercise that I do in the morning with dance, including my dance. And then throughout the day, I create micro moments to connect to the divine energy or to be totally empty, even just 1 minute, and sometimes can be like 3 minutes while having tea in between my work, and really try to connect in this. In Japanese, we say it ku, the empty space I go, and creating this space called ma, in between, the space in between. Then in this space, I stop my mind activities and I connect to higher energy called ku, the empty space, the void. So that's what I do throughout the day. And then at night, before I go to sleep, again, purification, cleaning my body out, and also environment as well. I make sure that before I go to bed, everything is tidy. So that's really basic. And then connecting and feeling this bond is also important for me. And I think it's for everybody. Other things which is important for me is to connect with my true self. And true self means how I'm feeling, the real voice. And often we want to be just positive, happy, joyful, etc. But we also have the other side of emotion and feeling. So for me, it is also important to connect to the other side, and then how my day was and what I have been feeling, and to review how my day was. And then creating and feeling of bringing myself in a really like point zero of, okay, good and bad, both, but feeling really fulfilled and feeling connection and love. And that's very important. And that's a part of, I think, in short, Buddhism, Shinto together in realistically every day, and not about going deep in the philosophical teaching, but the important thing is the real daily action, just cleaning, for example, cleaning outside, cleaning our mind. That's how we start. So thank you for watching. If you like to learn and also practice these elements of Japanese Shinto and Buddhism philosophy or wisdom, please join our wonderful community of Japanese Wisdom Academy. All the information is below. And also I love connecting and creating this bond. We are not family, but we can also create this beautiful bond wherever you are. And I look forward to welcoming any of you. And thank you for watching, and see you next time.